Hey peeps, it's Tripl-L, and today I'm here to bring you a Pokemon related video. Actually, my top 10 favorite Gen 1 Pokemon. I've made this video multiple times. I made it as one of my first videos and then I kind of scrapped it because I didn't think the script was good. But now I'm getting the chance to do it again. And this time, if you're watching this, I've done it. So, let's get down to this. Pokemon's been with me since I was a child. I've grown up with the generations, and each generation, there were going to be Pokemon that I really liked. So I'm going to talk about them and give my reason. And to make things fun, I'm going to try and put myself in the position of a mini Tripl-L and remember why I liked these Pokemon at that time. So my reasons for the time might include things like the exposure to Pokemon I'd gotten from the TV show, or some other kind of sentimental child reason. And note, I really wanted to make a top 7, but 10 rounds out better. But because of that, you can pretty much take the Pokemon in 10, 9, 8, and I guess 7 as being roughly equal or just honorable mentions. So without further ado, let's get the show on the road. Number 10, the incredible Bellsprout. Now guys, I'm gonna level with you. I do think Bellsprout is really dopey. I mean, look at the poor guy. But this guy has saved me more times than I can count, and more times than I'm willing to admit. So here's what usually happened when I was playing Pokemon Blue. After the 8 badges, you go down to Route 22. There, the jerk of a rival would pop out and challenge you to a battle. Since I was a kid, I picked Squirtle because he evolved into Pokemon in the box Blastoise. Reasonable, right? But that meant our rival had a Venusaur. Now, because I was a kid, I didn't understand the concept of properly leveling all of your Pokemon, and I only leveled my starter. So what ends up happening is that, my strongest Pokemon, my Blastoise, would get destroyed by the rival's last Pokemon, Venusaur. And then Venusaur would usually destroy my team until there was just a single Bellsprout left. And at first, I thought Bellsprout is screwed. Poor guy's gonna die. But Bellsprout survived. And I started attacking back at Venusaur and I just chipped away at his health. Now, I have no idea how this worked, and I think I went back to look at Venusaur's move pool for that particular battle. But, man, yeah, Bellsprout survived, and just because of, I guess, type disadvantage, or because they were the same type, Bellsprout made it through, and he would win, and then level up to around 23 or 26 and evolve into Weepinbell. And it was so weird, and it stood out to me, because I remember repeating that strategy for 3 more playthroughs of Pokemon Blue. So, yeah, Bellsprout, frick, you saved me in a way I never would have thought you could possibly do. Sometimes I'm tempted to go back to Pokemon Blue and play that again with a Bellsprout, but I'm not going to put myself through that, no. Number 9, the regal Nidoking. So, this guy is just plain cool looking. I mean, look at him. What is he? Is he a dinosaur? Is he a shrew? No, he's just a boss monster Pokemon. And that's all we need to know, bro. Like, really, it's all we need to know. Nidoking, the pre-evolution, was always reliable in my playthroughs because of how early you could get a Nidoran and evolve it into a Reno, and then Moonstone all the way to the boss. I thought that was the most impressive maneuver I as a kid could do. But Nidoking is just a cool looking guy. And I remember hearing this in a lot of other people's lists of their favorite Pokemon. Nidoking is one of those prime examples of what makes a Pokemon because it's indistinguishable from other animals in real life. So, points for that. Number 8, the electrifying Zapdos. Oh, Zapdos. The first legendary Pokemon I ever accidentally killed. He left an impression. And look, his design is so super cool. Well, maybe not his beak. I'm not a fan. But having Zapdos around on my way later playthroughs of Pokemon Blue really helped out. Whenever I didn't have a Bellsprout on the team, Zapdos was there, I think. He was cool to have, and I think he helped me out during one of the Elite Four battles, probably against the Ice Pokemon trainer, who I can't recall right now. Moving on, number 7, the humble Bulbasaur. Nowadays I really tend to slide towards the grass starters whenever I start a new generation, but back in the day, Bulbasaur was the one I would pick on some playthroughs because I felt he was underrepresented, and I thought that was really unfair. Of course, I didn't know there was originally a green version, but hey, Bulbasaur as a starter was a fun time for me. And he was also one of the Pokemon that popped up most frequently on the TV show. So as a kid, I really became fond of him. Like, Bulbasaur is always going to have a special place in my heart. Okay, now we're in the big leagues. And coming in at number 6 is Kabutops. As I'm doing this list and putting my favorites together, I'm starting to notice a few threads. But here we go with Kabutops, the first fossil Pokemon I ever used. And that's the sentimental reason. But then Kabutops looks so cool with his size, his design is so sleek, how could a young Tripl-L not want to have this guy on the team? I'm not sure if I had him on my first couple of playthroughs, but I distinctly remember being interested in the Pokemon after seeing Kabuto and him in the episode with Bill from the TV show at the lighthouse. And then the Twitch Plays Pokemon thing happened, and yeah, I'm not betraying him, I'm not for the Helix. But that's something else altogether. Number 5, the fast one, Pidgeotto. So why Pidgeotto? Why not Pidgeot? Well, 2 reasons. Pidgeotto got way more exposure in the TV show, and second, it was a trading issue I mentioned earlier. My Pidgeottos would just not level up enough, and now you have to remember, I was just a kid when the internet wasn't so mainstream and accessible. The only way I could find out about Pokemon I had to encounter was through the TV show or any other promotional materials that would pop up. In game, I wouldn't find out about Pidgeot until I battled Jerk Rival number 1. And at that point, I was content with my guys as they were, especially considering that Pidgeotto is one of the Pokemon that can be with you from very early in the game, and Pidgeotto was my number 1 flyer. I greatly appreciate the minutes of my life that Pidgeotto saved by just flying me everywhere instead of me just walking. Pidgeotto's cool. Number 4, the slick Squirtle. So, I actually don't like Charizard in his line that much. For me, in terms of my rankings as a kid and kinda now, it'd be Squirtle, then Bulbasaur, then Charmander. But why, might you ask? Well, I think it's just the luck of the draw. Pokemon Blue was my first game, and Blastoise was his mascot, and Squirtle on the TV show had a lot of cool moments. Squirtle was my first starter, and he kinda set the standard for what I expected to feel with all my subsequent starters. I'm fond of the little guy. He pretty much represents the wonder of my Pokemon experience. Okay, number 3, the mischievous Haunter. So disclaimer, these last 3 all have one thing in common. They were Pokemon that I saw on the TV show that left such an impression on me that I wanted to have them in the game. And Haunter was really neat. I really liked his design, another sleek looking one in my eyes. Whenever I used Haunter, he felt so powerful. In almost all subsequent generations, there were tons of times I'd just catch a Ghastly and training up to Haunter because of my fondness of Gen 1 Haunter. I didn't pick Gengar, however, because as you can imagine, I never had one in Gen 1. Since I didn't know about trading to evolve Pokemon, and besides, in terms of design, I think Haunter is a bit more interesting than the bulky Gengar. Not to slight Gengar, I think he's really interesting when it comes to the theories surrounding him. But yeah, my number 3, Haunter. Number 2, the slashing Scyther. The first time I legitimately saw Scyther's design was on a TV show, the episode with Scyther versus Electabuzz and the bottle of ketchup, and I also saw him in a small novel that was circulating at the time. I remember thinking, what a cool Pokemon, but I could never find him in Pokemon Blue. In that generation, he was found in the Safari Zone, and my tiny Tripl-L mind just couldn't figure out the best way to succeed on a safari expedition. I think I only ever ran across him once, and I remember being sad. But hey, on the plus side, he didn't look that great in Pokemon Blue, and at the time, it was really hard to succeed with a bug type in Gen 1 and I think Gen 2. That being said, I was really happy that it was easier to catch him in Gold and Silver. And now, my number 1 favorite Pokemon, and here it is, Jolteon. Jolteon, I first saw him in the episode with the Eevee brothers, and I just thought he was the coolest looking one. He looked really powerful with how they demonstrated his pin missile in the episode 2, and as a kid I had a few Pokemon figures that I got as a present, and Jolteon and the other 2 were part of that little present. Jolteon was my obvious favorite. Now, there's something I need to mention with Jolteon. While he is my favorite Gen 1 Pokemon, he's also the Pokemon I'm the most disappointed with. Now, let me explain. As I grew up and as more generations came out, the amount of Pokemon I was legitimately disappointed with in every generation pretty much approaches 0. I had just gotten to a point where I appreciated all the pokes, and for what they could do, I was smart enough to know how to use a Pokemon effectively, and I just didn't have any expectations. That didn't happen in the first gen. In the first generation, my expectations were blown up out of proportion. And when I got a Jolteon in Blue, I couldn't use him that well. I was disappointed to find out Pin Missile was a bug type move, and just how few attacks he could learn. I haven't actually trained a Jolteon in the main games ever since. I've trained all the other evolutions, but Jolteon's the only one that I think I tried in Guild of Darkness. I haven't used him in the main game. And it's weird, right? Like, Jolteon was my child self's absolute favorite, and now being way older, those sentiments are very near and dear to my heart. And maybe that's why I haven't legitimately trained one since, because I want to preserve that kind of feeling. Or I just haven't had the idea to. I mean, the evolutions are so neat with every generation they're introduced. It's like a new toy effect, so it kind of takes away the spotlight from Jolteon. But yeah, Jolteon's the Pokemon I'm the most disappointed with because I had so much expectations for him. But, like I said, he's still my favorite. And that's pretty much it. Let's round out the list. My top 10 favorite Gen 1 Pokemon: Bellsprout, Nidoking, Zapdos, Bulbasaur, Kabutops, Pidgeotto, Squirtle, Haunter, Scyther, and Jolteon. Well peeps, I hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching. I had a lot of fun making this. I made it multiple times. What are your favorite Gen 1 Pokemon? Leave comments down below if you'd like, and I look forward to seeing that. Thanks for watching. Till next time, have a good day.